In this week's episode, we help find a suitable vehicle for a 19-year-old.
Vehicles from Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi and Infiniti go head-to-head.
And should a viewer keep or sell his well-maintained 2015 Ford Focus?
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We'll be tackling a fresh batch of your vehicle-related questions and queries once again. And here to help us this week are Chaya Finger from Car Chic and GC Lukele from BMW Center. Hello guys.
Hi.
Nice to have you back, GC.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I'm not going to say anything to her. There goes the entire
You look
show.
great, Chaya, I'll say it.
Thank you.
Great to see you guys here once again. Now remember, if you like the panel's advice, you can send us an email to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za, or you can pop us a DM on Instagram @ignitiontv. And please give us as much information as possible, including a picture of yourself. Now we're going to kick off things with a question from a 19-year-old Sean. He's seeking advice on buying a small car with a budget of 80,000 Rand. He's considering two options, Hyundai Getz and the Toyota Tazz. He wants guidance on which of these vehicles will do a better choice for him, based on reliability, fuel efficiency, and overall value for money. Chaya, two small little, fairly good runarounds.
So yeah, they're both great cars. I'd go with the Getz only because he has, more chance of keeping it longer. That Tazz is quite sought after. It's a high risk, as we know. If he does go with the Tazz, if he finds a nice one, he should go with the 5-speed just for fuel consumption.
Yeah.
So that's my take. Both great options though. If you can find either or, Tazz, it's a cool car, but they get stolen. So.
Yeah. GC.
Yeah, I also thought when I looked at both of them, like they're really equal rivals. But I'm also just thinking of my 19-year-old me. I think the Tazz might have a little bit more street cred than the Getz.
Yeah.
So it's really down to preference.
Well, you'll have a street cred for about a week
about
or
10
so.
minutes. Have street cred for about 10 minutes and then that'll be done.
Also true.
Yeah.
Now, security is a consideration
Yeah.
for the Toyota,
Yeah.
way more than the Hyundai. But it's down to preference, I would say.
Yeah, so 80,000 Rand, is there anything else you'd throw in there besides those two?
So, yeah, it's interesting. We always talk about the Honda Jazz, right?
Yeah.
It's going to pop up at any point.
No 19-year-old
But no
young man
19-year-old,
Right.
wants to drive that, yeah.
That's number one. And
Although they
also,
should be, but anyway.
Yeah, and it probably won't be in that price point
Yeah.
because it's such a sought-after car. But I think I would still go with the two options. I wouldn't bother. You're going to struggle to find a car at that price point that
agree.
is well kept. So if those two options is looking at are well kept, I would go with either.
One thing I'd throw in there is try and have a look around for a Honda Civic. You mentioned the Honda Jazz. Now, I know 19-year-old boys, doesn't want granny's car. But the Civic, the booted version, you'll get an 1800 version and you must probably pick them up in this sort of range. And the nice thing I like about the Civic is because it's bulletproof, very reliable, you're more than likely you're going to find one, even if it's got 150,000 Ks on the clock. You're going to find something that's going to last for at least another 150,000.
That's true, yeah.
The Getz is not bad, and the Toyota is not bad. The problem with the Tazz is they're all old and they're all battered, and to find a decent one is very, very difficult. And you'll find something with high mileage. The Getz you will find, and they are good cars. But as an option, go online, have a look for a Honda Civic.
Good.
And I think that's a bit more cooler than
good.
a Getz. You'll get a lot more features with it, a bit more power, and overall a nicer car.
You know what's
to drive.
even more cooler, guys? And there's even higher risk, is the last of the Golf ones. He'll find a nice one in this money, but you know what's going to happen to
Yes,
him?
yeah.
He'll also have it for about 5 minutes.
But those cars, they don't come with aircon, they don't come with power steering.
Yeah.
You must probably find, the Getz may come with that.
But he wants
Others-
fuel efficiency and overall maintenance
Reliability.
value for money.
Yeah.
He's going to get it in a Golf
City
one.
Golf fuel.
He'll definitely get it in a City
Yeah.
Golf Rocks or something like
And
that.
it'll give him great street
He'll
cred.
give him
It's like
great
100
street cred.
kilometers.
Yeah.
The life velocity.
You know what I say to that? Yuck.
You know what I say to that? You'll have it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's it.
Our next viewer is Dylan. Him and his wife are considering a second-hand Kia Sorento 2.2 CRDI 7-seater for under 300,000 Rand, with around 150,000 kilometers on the clock. They want to know if it's a good choice and what key issues should they check before buying. Okay, Ms. Kia, go for it.
So when it comes to buying a car with this mileage, I would say it's going to be 5 to 6 years old, okay, this sort of car. So they have to make sure they're buying from a reputable place. these fly-by-night places that you find on the internet. You have to be careful. Service history is also a huge thing. I've noticed that people are willing to overlook that. Not when you're looking at a diesel car with 150,000 kilometers. Kia's a great brand. We all know that. As long as it's got a full service history and also where you buy it. Used car showrooms are great as long as they are reputable. You know, so you can always, you want a recourse. You don't want to buy a car and then you're on your own foot's toots, you know. Especially yeah, that's my take on this car.
Yeah, I
I
think
told
you're
you,
right.
Miss Kia. GC, anything to add to that?
I agree with her fully. So Kia consistently comes up at the top of the JD Power surveys for quality. You can't go wrong. The diesel's great for, so we're speaking here, fuel consumption, all good. Just to add on to what Khai has raised, I think the other thing I would also add on is just make sure that you've got someone to look after the car. I mean, we've got two gentlemen here that could do that.
Yeah.
Those kinds of cars, higher mileage, you need to make sure that the key components have been taken care of. But I also had a look online. This car that this person's found seems to be a hard to find car. There is nothing remotely close to what they've found.
To the budget, yeah.
So if the car's well kept, they like it, it's got full service history, it's a go.
I can tell you what they found here. I think Dylan and his wife are
Friends.
probably buying it from their friends.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a good deal.
I mean, that's the best way to buy a
Buy
car.
a car, yeah.
Because normally, if your friend's got a car that's a piece of junk, he's not going to sell it.
Oh, well,
Unless I'm selling something to Segi.
Yeah. And we'll still remain friends
Could be
because
the
that's
end
the
of
kind
your
of friendship
friendship,
we
let's be
have.
honest.
Yeah.
Could be the beginning and the end of that friendship.
Yeah, so if you are buying it from somebody you know, that's great. And then you can check the service history. It's very important. If you get one and there's like dodgy service history, I'd recommend you take it into a good workshop, let them check it out for you.
Before you buy it, yeah.
And do the sort of proper maintenance on it. Give it good oil changes, change gearbox oils, change the brake fluids, coolants, all those kinds of things, you know. Just give it a really good service. Because 7-seater, what do we use it for? Holidays and schlep our kids around and that. So we don't want to be stuck on the side of the road.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay, stay tuned because after the break, we got a viewer interested in purchasing a Ford Ranger Stormtrak.
Vehicles from Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi and Infiniti go head to head. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you've just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Sibusiso is considering purchasing a Ford Ranger Stormtrak for its comfort and space within his budget of 800,000 Rand. He's open to new or low mileage options and seeks advice on whether it's a good choice. He's also unsure whether to pay cash or finance the purchase. GC?
He's in a very fortunate position.
Yes, I was just going to say exactly.
I wish I had such problems. So the conversation we often have with customers is, what is the cash option? Often when they say cash, it's money from somewhere. And many times it'll be money from a bond. It's not real cash. Very few people are fortunate enough to be in that position. But look, if it's efficient cash and they can get it out of their bond without having a long conversation at a lower rate than it would to finance a car, still makes sense. Any day, if you can avoid financing a car, avoid it.
Agree.
But also just think about what it's costing you to put that cash into a car. A car is not an asset.
Yeah.
It's
you
utility.
depreciate.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at a Ford.
I don't know, I mean, the Ford Rangers have got really good resale value. Now, the Stormtrak, as we all know, is just a double cab Ranger with some
Kit.
stickers on it, really. You know,
With
stickers
cosmetics,
and
yeah.
Pretty.
it's cosmetic fitting. So you could actually go out and buy yourself a brand new double cab Ranger within your 800,000 Rand budget, brand new, out the box. You know, okay, may not be the Stormtrak because maybe that's a bit more expensive, but that's just like a different grille and a different stickers and, you know, a bit of stitching here and there, but ultimately you get the same thing. So 800,000, I like the Ranger. It's most probably the most comfortable car to drive. It's a great car. If you're buying it brand new, it's coming with a warranty. I'd say, yeah, go ahead, go and buy it. You'll be very happy. Everybody I know has got a Ranger. They love them. You know, there are stories, oh, they give trouble, but we can tell you about every single brand. There'll be, oh, I bought this Toyota, it broke down. I bought this Mercedes, it broke down. I bought this BMW.
Very rarely I hear those stories, though.
That's
I've heard
why
the
your
Ford
surname-
story.
what's your surname again?
Yeah, you buy a
What's-
Ford, it
what's
breaks
What's your
down.
surname again?
My son. Chevrolet.
It's Adam Ford.
Yeah.
Go figure.
No, I mean, I think the Range is great. It's got all the kit that goes with it. It's comfortable. It's spacious. It's a great bakkie. You buy it brand new. you're getting warranty and everything with it. And even if you do buy one, like you said, if it's less than 20,000 Ks, you're still going to find it with all the warranties and that. So maybe you look at it, do I buy a Stormtrak, a 1-year-old with 20,000 Ks on it, or do I go out and buy a brand new one that doesn't have a couple of the little shiny bits on it, you know, the cosmetic stuff? I'd say.
What would you buy, Khaya?
Listen, I like the Ford. I know Sagi. This is why we sit in so far apart. That's why I'm sitting next to Adam. I agree with GC when it comes to that cash question. I wouldn't. If I didn't have the choice to finance, I'd definitely go with cash, because for the first 2 to 3 years you're paying interest. You're not even touching the capital of that car. So it's a no-brainer for me. Also, he said like a used car with not exceeding 20,000 kilometers. As far as I know, that would be considered a demo, not a used car. It would be,
well, it's used,
and it's barely depreciated a lot. So.
And if you're going to buy one of those, buy it from a Ford dealer.
Definitely.
Don't like, oh, here's one cheap at some wholesale.
Why
or
would
whatever.
you say that, Adam?
Because if you go to a Ford dealer, you get all the backup and everything goes with it. If
Oh,
you've got any issues,
and you need the backup when you buy a Ford. Whereas if you bought a Toyota or a Nissan or a Mitsubishi, hey, you can buy it from anywhere.
look, I'm with you. I think the Hilux is a great bakkie. So is the Nissan Navara a great bakkie. But he wants a Ford Ranger.
Well, you know what?
Ford Ranger is cool.
Say what?
Sibasisu,
What would you take?
me.
Well,
Me, I'd take a Toyota every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
and so would somebody else from you.
Yeah.
Okay, right, moving on. Jay from Bloemfontein. He owns a 2014 Audi RS3 and wants a second-hand car with a monthly budget of about 8,000 Rand a month, excluding his insurance. He's considering the Mercedes-Benz C200 AMG, BMW 320i M Performance, Audi A5 S-Line, and the Infiniti Q50. Why? I don't know. He's seeking a vehicle with all the bells and whistles, with a focus on fuel consumption, service plan, warranty, practicality, and future value. He's also open to other suggestions. Well, he's covered all the bases, GC.
Yeah,
So, I mean, like, why did you give him the first suggestion, GC?
BMW.
No Infinity. That's the first suggestion.
How did it get here?
Yeah, when we started speaking about future value and I saw Infinity, I thought, okay. So yeah, I would definitely like punt a BM, but just not a 320i. I would go with the 320D. A little bit more in terms of pricing, and maybe a year older, 2 years older at the same price point, but so much more car efficiency, reliability,
Power, everything.
power,
And resale value.
resale. Everyone's looking for a diesel in the used car market. So
Yeah. So that is certainly the one I would go for as well, 320 diesel. Khaya?
So funny enough, I was thinking he should just stay with Audi because he already has an Audi, although the A5 resale value is not going to be great. Also, with that budget, he's going to find a car out of its plan. He's not going to find a car, especially these, he's not going to find one. Even
Okay,
the
so
PM, he's not going to find.
Just out of 8,000 Rand a month, GC, you should know roughly
350.
what is it?
450.
450.
So he
Roughly,
should
depending on the interest rate. So
Yeah.
say in that
So-
sort of 4 to
so he should up it,
450,000
yeah.
Rand region. So for 8 grand a month, he's going to get himself a 320D. It's going to be an older one.
Gonna have
Yeah,
nothing.
no more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he has to bear that in mind. That's why if he's already in a 2014 Audi, it's already 10 years old, go with another Audi if it's a second car, because you know the brand. You're obviously servicing it somewhere. So that's my take.
I
Have a
wouldn't
look
buy an
at the
Audi
gearbox.
A5.
I just bought an Audi recently. I had to call Adam true story.
Yeah, no, look,
Because if the gearbox is wrong, you're
You
in
didn't buy
for
a
trouble.
PM.
he just lost his job.
He's lost his job.
Yeah, Audi A5, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't, especially because of that 2-liter. If you bought a diesel version, again, the diesel version's cool, but the petrol
for diesel,
version's
babe.
garbage.
Yeah.
We got it.
So I would say there's 2 cars here. Mercedes-Benz C200, which is actually not too bad, or the BMW 320D. And I think the 320D is most probably the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
I think so too, because the Mercedes-Benz 200, I mean, with all the chain and timing chain gears problem,
Yeah.
he's not going to enjoy that car for too
Look,
long.
not every car is perfect.
Yeah,
every
but, you
car
know,
has issues. But
But we just come up with the 320D, which we all agree
Yeah.
is as near perfect as you're going to get in a car.
or you go for something like a C220 diesel.
Yeah.
You know, if you
Diesel.
can find a
Diesel.
C220. So the diesel versions.
Diesel, yeah.
You know,
In all these cars, you should be looking at the diesel.
Yeah,
version.
and
that's
it's funny, years ago we said don't even touch a diesel, they're rubbish.
Except the Infinity. You
I
shouldn't
would-
touch the Infinity. Period. No Infinity.
Take it off the list.
Take it off the list, yeah.
All right, we'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we discuss whether it's a problem to use engine oil not mentioned in the car manual.
And should a viewer keep or sell his well-maintained 2015 Ford Focus? So welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Amit is concerned about the 15W40 engine oil used in his 2022 Toyota Corolla Cross during a service. With 15,000 kilometers on the clock, he believes it's too thick for cold starts, especially in winter. While the dealership claims 15W40 is per service schedule, the owner's manual recommends a 0W20, a 5W30 or a 10W40. He seeks clarification on whether a 15W40 is suitable. Okay, so there's a lot of numbers and acronyms that are going in there. What the hell does it all mean? So there's two numbers. So in his 15W40, 15 and 40 are two thicknesses of the oil as such. So the first number, the 15, is how thick the oil is when it's cold, and at 40, how thick the oil is when it's warm. Basically, that's the difference. So in our climate, so let's take for argument's sake you lived in Sweden and you drove a Corolla and it's freezing cold. The ambient temperature every day is 5 degrees. You would want something like a 5W30 oil in. It's thinner.
Or a 0W30.
Or a 0W. You know, you would want the first number to be lower. But because we live in South Africa and our ambient temperatures are running around about 20 degrees on average.
20. These days it's only like 35.
I'm talking about first starts in the morning, not at like midday.
First start in the morning about 40, 29, yeah.
So
I know where he comes up with these ambient temperatures.
Yeah, so if we
Thank
look at
God he's not the weatherman.
Yeah, I'm not a weatherman. So if you look at it, so take the car in Sweden and take the car locally, the oil at our temperatures and their temperatures, the 0W20 in Sweden is the same thickness as the 15W40 at our temperatures here.
Yes.
So it's the same sort of thing. The protective parts of that oil is still perfectly good for the engine. So to answer your question, it's perfectly good to put a 15W40 in your car. Absolutely no problem. It's slightly thicker, but in our climate, it's suited.
You know, the other thing, Adam, is I don't think any dealership worth its salt will put in an incorrect oil in the motor vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's a dealership.
It's a Toyota
We're talking
dealership.
about a Toyota dealership
And he
here.
phoned the OEM. I'm just so impressed that he read the manual like that. I'm just I can't get anyone to read a manual. I don't know how many manuals I've read, so I'm ready.
Okay, he's got a whole lot of time on his hands. He's a billionaire or something.
Too much
Instead of going and spending time on the beach, he's decided to let's read the manual.
Yeah, and of course, we're talking a Corolla Cross here. It's not like it's a high-performance engine that maybe the oil should be a specific type and viscosity. It'll be absolutely perfect. It's the only thing it's going to do is maybe give you a slightly more oil pressure, which is good. On a lot of cars, I know that, I'll give you an example. Land Rover Discovery 4, manual recommends you use a 5W30 oil in it. If you do that, your engine's going to fail because the oil is too thin.
Yes.
You need something slightly thicker in that oil, especially for our
10W40 or something.
So you put a 15W40 in there, or 10W40, or 10W30. It actually works better for the car, and you get longevity out of it. So in terms of that, don't get. I think you're getting a bit of paralysis by over-analysis. You know. So it's a good oil. It'll work fine. The dealer will put a quality product in, and they're not going to go and buy like, you know, a second-hand used oil from some oak around the corner here, drum of oil. No, they're using high-quality stuff, so don't panic too much about it.
And the fact that it's a dealer.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
he
dealer.
phoned
And he's got warranty on the car.
Yep.
If anything happens because of the oil, you just take it back.
You will have no problem. I've run thousands of those on 15W40, and they've done 500,000 Ks, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, and it's a Toyota, dude. It'll run without oil.
Well, don't believe that.
And finally, Greg, the owner of a well-maintained 2015 Ford Focus, is considering whether to keep or sell his car before its costly 10-year service, which includes a 13,000 Rand timing belt replacement. While he enjoys the car's size and solid feel, fuel consumption has increased to 7.5 liters to 100 kilometers due to city driving, but I don't think so. He also wonders if he should be concerned about potential carbon buildup. Okay, firstly, that fuel consumption increases because his cam belt is now failing. And those bits and pieces in the oil are blocking up all his gears and things like that. That should be giving it optimum fuel consumption. And that's a wet belt in that car. So that problem there is going to persist, the fuel consumption, until he replaces the cam belt.
Right.
And does the service. But if he's not replacing the cam belt,
He's in trouble.
he's going to have a bit of a problem.
Yeah, so these Ford 1-liter EcoBoost 3-cylinder engines are not known for their great fuel consumption. So, you know, the cam belt replacement at 13,000 Rand, that's from a Ford dealer. You know, you can get them done a little bit cheaper if you shop around at a decent workshop that understands how those cars work. You need to replace that cam belt. He's on 80,000 kilometers. It is good to change that early. Ford recommends, I think it's 180,000 for that
120.
belt. No, it's actually 180.
180.
But we always recommend replace it early, maximum 120,000 kilometers. So if you own any Ford that's got that 3-cylinder EcoBoost engine in, the engines need a lot more maintenance than actually Ford should do. So what I would recommend you do, first of all, is you shorten your service intervals to every 10,000 Ks, because you're not doing a lot of mileage, and have your cam belt replaced. If it's a cost thing, you can shop around. You must probably pay in the region of about 8,000 Rand to get that done. So it's not a bad car, but they can be very expensive to maintain, and they can fail. So, you know, if you maintain it well, look after it, they can last. But if you don't and you ignore it, then you're in for very big bills, you know, 60, 70,000 Rand bills when the car's not worth it. So you've got to decide if you're going to sell it or keep it.
Every time Adam calls me, he says, Seki, I got an Eco Boom in the workshop.
So we call them Eco Booms because they fail.
Mr. Ford, that was a very, very politically correct way of
Yes,
answering that.
yes.
I'm impressed.
Okay, keep the car. No, look, I like the Focus. I think it's disappointed that they stopped making it. It's not the best engine in the car, but if you do replace the cam belt, the cam belt's one of the biggest problems. As Segi quite rightly says, the cam belt deteriorates because it's a wet belt. It runs inside the engine full of oil. Pieces of it fall off.
I wonder whose idea that was.
Some drunk engineer. So little pieces fall off and they get stuck into the engine oil pump pickup, and then it starves the engine of oil, and your engine fails, your turbo fails, and all that kind. But if you change it earlier, you don't have that problem. And this was an award-winning engine. I don't know.
You know, when they were awarding those awards, I think they were all...
They went to party together.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go. And unfortunately, just like that, guys, we've come to an end of the episode. Chaya, GC, that flew through. It's been a great pleasure having you guys here. And of course, as usual, thanks for all your...
Thanks for schooling us too, right? A little bit about oil too.
Yeah, you learned a little bit.
You learned a little bit, yeah. And you know...
Pass it on.
It's supposed to be the other way around. You guys are supposed to help us.
Last all the time.
Pass it on.
Until next time, remember to keep left, pass right, and please keep it safe on the roads.